sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
All right, welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're looking at a result that, well, it's got everyone talking.
Yeah.
Man City, they drew with Brentford. Unexpected, to say the least.
Definitely a surprise.
We've got the Manchester Evening News post-match report here. And this is more than just, a drop point.
Yeah.
I mean, Man City, they were winning. They were up 2-0.
Comfortable, you'd think.
You'd think, right. But then, well, things kind of went a little sideways.
Yeah, a bit of a twist.
It wasn't like Man City were playing poorly, though, right?
No, not at all. The report, it makes it sound like a really exciting match. Back and forth. Both sides had their chances.
Yeah. I mean, they had Phil Foden. He was on fire.
2 goals.
2 goals. His first, is beautiful. A volley right off a De Bruyne cross. Picture perfect.
Textbook.
And then the second, powerful rebound. Savinho's shot got saved, but Foden was right there.
Yeah, he was hungry for it.
But Brentford, they weren't just sitting back.
No, they had some close calls themselves. Gvardiol, that block he pulled off, fantastic. And Ake clearing one off the line.
Oh, yeah, nail-biter stuff.
You could feel the tension building as you read.
So, okay, maybe not total domination.
Yeah.
But still, 2-0, comfortable lead. You'd think, game over.
Should be. But then...
This is where it gets really interesting. Brentford, they scored twice
Yeah.
in the last 8 minutes of the match.
Crazy.
It's crazy, right? First, Yoane Wissa. He found the net, close range. And then, just when you think, okay, maybe Man City can escape with a draw,
Last-minute heartbreak.
Christian Norgaard, header in the dying seconds.
Unbelievable.
Talk about a blow to Man City, especially with how they've been playing. They won their last 3 games. This draw, it kind of throws a wrench in things.
Yeah, it does. It stops that momentum they had. And it hurts their chances of getting back into the top 4, which for a club like Man City, that's not somewhere they're used to being.
Not at all. Adds a whole other level of pressure to their season. And the report actually quotes Foden. He admitted that the team, they seemed tired. Like they were struggling to deal with Brentford's physicality, especially later in the game.
Oh, interesting.
Could that be a factor here? Fatigue?
It's possible, with their schedule packed as it is. But there is something a little strange in Guardiola's comments after the match.
Oh.
He praised both Gvardiol and Ortega.
Even though?
Even though they were involved in the goals conceded.
Wait, so he's praising players who essentially made mistakes that led to goals.
Yeah, it's a bit odd.
It is.
The report also mentions that Guardiola was seen, lecturing Gvardiol right there on the pitch. And then after the whistle blew, he had a long talk with Ortega.
Huh. What do you make of that?
I don't know. Maybe it's some kind of motivational tactic, like showing confidence in them publicly, even though they messed up.
Interesting.
It's definitely nuanced. Makes you wonder what he really thought.
Definitely adds another layer to all of this. Speaking of layers, the report also talked about Matheus Nunes. He started the match at right back. Oh, right, which is not his usual position.
Not at all. And on top of that, he missed a big scoring chance early on.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah. Could that have changed things, do you think?
Okay.
Guardiola, he explained the decision.
Yeah.
He said he wanted Nunes in that position so he could drift more centrally. But it didn't really work out, did it? Makes you wonder, was Guardiola, sacrificing individual skill for some tactical experiment?
That's a great point. Like trying to force a square peg into a round hole.
Exactly.
But then again, maybe he sees something in Nunes that we don't. Maybe he's trying to unlock some hidden potential.
Maybe. That tactical tweak, maybe it was a glimpse into Guardiola's long-term plan for him.
Or maybe it was just a desperate attempt to find a solution because the team's form is dipping.
Could be.
It's fun to think about all the possibilities.
For sure.
And then there's Haaland.
Yeah.
The report said he had several chances, but nothing went in. Is the pressure getting to him, do you think?
It's hard to say. I mean, even the best goal scorers, they have their off days. Right.
Some people might argue he's actually playing well. It's just that he's facing some really tight defenses.
That's true.
So, is he under pressure? Or is he just a victim of his own success? The expectations are so high for him.
Yeah, it's got to be tough.
Definitely something to think about.
For sure. Now, there was one player who really stood out to me in the report. Savinho, the young Brazilian winger.
Oh, yeah.
He was all over the pitch, forced some saves, even set up one of Foden's goals.
He was buzzing.
He was. But there's this interesting detail. Apparently, Guardiola was really annoyed when Savinho took a shot instead of passing.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder why.
I know. Maybe Guardiola saw a better option there, tactically. A pass that could have created a more likely goal.
Makes sense.
It really shows how much attention to detail he has, and how much he wants his team to stick to his style of play.
Yeah, even when they're struggling.
It's like he's always thinking 10 steps ahead, always striving for perfection.
But this match, it also highlighted something else that was unusual for Man City. Their activity in the January transfer window.
Right. They don't usually do much in January, but they've brought in 3 new players already.
It's almost like they knew there was a weakness after those early losses.
Could be.
Anyone stand out among the new signings?
Well, there's Omar Marmoush, a forward from Eintracht Frankfurt.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him.
He's been scoring a lot of goals this season.
Sounds like just what they need.
Right.
Well, what do you think attracted Man City to him?
I think they're looking to beef up their attack. I mean, they were up 2-0 in this match and still couldn't hold on. They need someone who can put the ball in the net consistently, especially if Haaland isn't doing it right now.
Yeah, makes sense.
So this draw against Brentford, it's revealed a lot more than just, a couple of drop points.
Yeah.
We've got possible fatigue, tactical experiments, unusual transfer activity, and all this pressure on Man City to get back to their winning ways.
It's fascinating. It's like a microcosm of all the challenges even a top club faces.
Exactly. And it brings up a big question. Is this a sign that Man City's dominance is slipping? Or is this just a bump in the road? We'll keep exploring that question as we continue our deep dive.
We will. It's like we're peeling back the layers of an onion here.
Yeah.
And each layer just gives us more questions.
Let's dig a little deeper into those January transfers. Man City, they brought in 3 new players, which is, well, not really their style, is it?
Not typically, no.
So what can you tell us about these signings? What kind of impact could they have?
Well, besides Marmoush, they've also signed a young left back. He's from the Eredivisie, a real rising star.
Yeah.
Known for his speed, his attacking runs.
So they're looking at more than just attack then.
Yeah, they're addressing a few different areas. The third signing, he's a veteran central midfielder.
Experience, leadership.
Exactly.
Makes sense, especially if fatigue is a factor, like Foden said. They need those fresh legs, but also some experienced players to guide the younger ones.
But how do these new players fit into Guardiola's system? He's so precise with his tactics, his style of play.
That's the big question, isn't it? Guardiola, he's a master tactician, no doubt. But even he has to figure out how to make it all work when you add new players mid-season.
I imagine it's not easy.
Not at all. Like that left back, for example. He loves to attack, which is great for Guardiola's philosophy. But can he defend well enough in the Premier League? That's a tough league.
And what about the midfielder? Do you think he'll go straight into the starting lineup? Or will Guardiola use him more strategically?
Yeah.
Like bringing him on as a sub to control the pace of the game.
It's all about finding the right balance. Guardiola has to think about getting results now, but also developing the team for the future. He might be tempted to just throw those new signings in right away.
Yeah.
But he also has to think about the team's chemistry and the confidence of the players who are already there.
It's a tough juggling act.
It is.
And let's not forget about the mental side of things. This draw, it's got to have Man City's rivals feeling pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Like they can smell blood in the water. Do you think this gives them more confidence, makes them think they can push harder, take advantage of Man City maybe being vulnerable?
Absolutely. This draw, it's a huge boost for the other teams fighting for those top spots.
Yeah.
They'll be studying this match, looking for any weaknesses they can exploit.
So this draw, it has implications for the whole league then, not just Man City.
Exactly. It reminds us that the Premier League is one of the most competitive leagues in the world.
Anyone can beat anyone.
Exactly. On any given day.
It shows that even the giants can stumble. This draw against Brentford, it's thrown everything wide open. I'm really curious to see how the rest of the season plays out.
Me too.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's come back to this match specifically. We've talked about the tactics, the individual performances, the transfers, but there's one thing we haven't really touched on yet.
What's that?
The emotion of it all.
Yes.
Football, it's more than just formations and strategies. It's about passion, about grit, the will to win. And you can feel that in this report, especially when it describes Brentford's comeback.
You're right.
They were down 2 goals, but they just kept fighting. It's like they refused to give up. And in the end, that determination paid off.
It did.
Do you think maybe Man City underestimated them a little?
It's possible. They were up 2-0. They'd been winning. Maybe there was a little bit of complacency there.
Yeah, and that's all it takes for a team like Brentford to sneak back in.
Exactly. And they showed so much spirit. They never gave up. That's a credit to their manager, to their mentality as a team. They played like they truly believed they could get something out of this match, even when it seemed impossible.
It's a good reminder that even when things look bad, you should never give up hope.
Never.
But on the other side of that, this draw, it's got to be a wake-up call for Man City.
For sure. No team is invincible. Every opponent deserves respect.
And you can't let your guard down, not even for a second.
Right.
This draw, it could be a turning point for them. Maybe it's the kick in the pants they needed to refocus, to get that hunger back that made them champions.
Possibly.
Or maybe it's the beginning of the end, the first sign that their armor is cracking.
It's a crucial moment for them. This match, it's raised more questions than answers.
And that's what makes it so interesting.
It is.
It's what makes the Premier League so great. The unpredictability, the drama, the constant shifts in power. And for you, our listener, hopefully, this deep dive has given you a better understanding of not just this match, but the bigger picture of what's happening in the Premier League.
We've looked at the tactics, the individual players, the transfers, the psychological impact of this draw.
But as we've seen, there's always more to discover, more layers to peel back.
Exactly.
And that's the beauty of football. It's constantly evolving, always surprising us. So where do we go from here? What should we be watching for as the season goes on?
Well, that's the exciting part, right? We got to see how Man City responds to this setback. Do they tighten things up defensively? Do they get more aggressive on attack? And how fast can Guardiola get those new players working in his system?
Lots of questions.
Lots of questions. And then there's their rivals. Will they see this as their chance to close the gap? This is where the mental game comes in. The pressure's on Man City now. They have to prove they can handle this, that they can stay on top.
So much to watch for.
Absolutely. The next few matches, they're going to be crucial. Can they bounce back, get some convincing wins, or will we see more of those cracks starting to show? You got to pay attention to the tactics, how each player performs, the overall team spirit. Those are the things that'll tell us which way Man City is headed.
And it's not just about Man City, is it?
No, definitely not. Keep your eye on the other teams in that top 4 race. This draw, it's made things much more interesting. There are a few teams who could take advantage if Man City slips up again.
It's anyone's game now.
Right. It's a reminder that the Premier League, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You got to be consistent. The teams that can stay focused, avoid those big mistakes, those are the ones who will be in the running for the title at the end.
So as we wrap this up, let's go back to that big question. Is this draw a sign that Man City is on the decline? Or is it just a little hiccup on their way to another title?
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
We will.
But one thing's for sure, this draw, it's definitely made the Premier League a lot more exciting. It reminds us that anything can happen in this league. Even the best teams, they can be vulnerable.
And that's why we love it.
It is. The unpredictability, the drama, the passion, it's all there every week.
So to our listener, keep exploring. Keep watching how this all plays out. See what conclusions you draw. Read that full match report in the Manchester Evening News. Follow Man City's journey. And watch how their rivals react to all of this. The Premier League is a story that keeps unfolding, and you've got a front row seat.
You do.
And who knows? Maybe this draw, this surprise result, maybe it'll set off a chain reaction. And we'll end up with one of the most exciting Premier League seasons ever. We can't wait to find out. Until next time, keep diving deep.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I